Right, this is a very much a different kind of video I want to do. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing is I'm not going to be ranking all the fucking characters. I can do that later when I can be arsed. What I want to do is I've seen people actually doing this quite a lot. I want to rank each of the Persona 3 party members in terms of like usefulness. Essentially. So ignore almost everyone here. We're just going to do essentially the main party members from Persona 3. So what we're gonna do, actually let me just add a row. We're gonna call him Protag because he is SS tier essentially. You could right. He's essentially SS tier, but I'll explain that in a minute. Right. So we're gonna rank all the party members excluding Protag. Actually, we'll add Fuka as well. I understand she's, obviously a very different type of character, but I'll kind of explain what I do. We'll go from like D to S. So again, this is my personal opinion. You do not have to agree with me in any way, shape, or form. So let's start with, in my opinion, the worst worst party member in the game, Junpei. The reason why Junpei is so low for me, despite the huge buff Junpei got because of the buffed physical moves in this game, like it's so insane. It's honest to God insane. He's just outclassed in every other scenario by another character you'll see later on. He's outclassed his physical utility by like 3 characters. He's way outclassed his magic abilities. And his buffing can be done by literally by the protag, of course, but it goes to be done by by someone like Aegis who like learns practically all of the support skills. It's kind of insane as well is what I'm trying. It's what I'm trying to say. It's really it's kind of a Junpei is a good character. You can tell, like, I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here. I kind of roughly know what I want. Junpei is a really good character in Reload. I'm only going to be talking about Reload here. But he's outclassed by everyone. I feel like anyone can be fit into a party, but in the case of Junpei, he's outclassed by everyone else. And one of the characters he's outclassed by, who's also in D tier for a very obvious reason. Actually, no, he's in C tier. Shinji. The reason why Shinji's in C tier is quite literally, spoilers for Persona 3 Reload for this entire video, by the way, is because you don't get him for the entire game. If he was in the game from start to finish, he would easily be S tier. He would easily be S tier. He can do so much damage with his Fear Gate as long as you set him up right with Bloody Charge, which is a really good move as well, which is a Reload unique move, which is essentially just Charge plus Revolution, which is really good, and he really does synergize well with a lot of the characters. You can kind of fit him into any party, and he'll synergize well. But again, you don't get him for the entire game. And in order for him to really reach his true potential for me, you do need to set him up. You need to make your party around. You need to make your personas and your party around making him as strong as he can be. Once you get that, he can clear any fucking boss. I've one shot, like, I've not one shot, but I've nearly like completely killed almost the entire, like a lot of the the mid floor bosses, because the couple of mid floor bosses you can actually use him with. Shinji is such a good party member. It's actually unreal. But yeah, he's unfortunately at C tier for me. Speaking of C tier, I'm putting him Mitsuru. This is probably going to be my most controversial take, because a lot of people think Mitsuru is really good. She has second highest magic stat in the game, which is really good, and her 2 Fear Gates are really, really good as well. However, there's a lot of issues. She has been nerfed from her original Fez and portable versions. She loses her single target healing, which isn't great, especially for emergency situations. Obviously, she's outclassed as a healer. I'm not denying that. But having that backup just in case, like, someone's at like low health and it's not like your main healer's turn, having her there can honestly change the tides a lot. Another reason why is her Fear Gauge charge rate and her personality traits. The way her Fear Gauge charge is quicker, because by putting status effects on enemies. The only issue with this, it's good mid game, but once you get to end game, a lot of these enemies start to just straight up null these status effects, or have like alley dance or increased evasion to them, that just make it so hard to actually charge her fear gate normally. Whereas a lot of the other characters, you kind of do it naturally. Like even Junpei, it's just by landing crits, and his personality trait buffs crit rates. Shinji's is actually just being on half health. Like these two have better charge rates than hers because hers can literally just be stopped, right? Now, obviously, there's another character that can be stopped. However, they do make up for it with like their general kit. And speaking of our kit as well, it's not great either, which is a huge downgrade, as well as her personality trait of increased critical rates on enemies with status effects, right? Because she only learns one physical move. She learns neuro attack, right? Which means she can't actually make the best use of her like personality traits. Like it affects the party worldwide, so it's like a revolution if an enemy that has a status effect on it. But if you're not running a physical party and are running like I don't know, Yukari and like Ken or something, right? Like yeah, they too learn physical moves, but they're not physical attackers, they're magic attackers. You can't really make the most of that. So that's why she does fall in C tier. If she literally didn't have if her personality and characteristics were changed completely, she would easily be A, right? But for now, she is in C tier. She's better than Shinji though, because she doesn't fucking die. B tier. B tier is a balanced character. I don't think they're great, but you can actually put them in any party. And right there is Koromaru. In Fess, Koromaru fucking sucked, right? Because he couldn't really fit. He was he's like Junpei. He's outclassed in every other scenario. Right. However, he got insane buffs and reload. One of the major ones I think, right? With his characteristics and uh like fear gaze. He starts out with 2 fear gaze. He doesn't have to get an ultimate persona, which makes sense because he doesn't have one. And his first one's okay. It's just severe dark magic. It's alright. It's not severe. I think it's heavy. It's not severe heavy for one target or something, which like actually just is not, which isn't great. Um, in the long run because well, Sphere, because it's not. Oh, it's good in the long run, right? But it's significantly outclassed by his second one, like Hound's second one. The second one, it's essentially just a party-wide charge, which is so good, especially if you pair it with Shinji. These two together can make one of the strongest teams in the game, right? He also learns Automa Secunda as like his characteristic, like his personality trait, which is really good for taking out early game, which is good for taking out enemies. The only thing he struggles with is his viability in boss battles. As far as I'm concerned, he only learns single target dark moves. He doesn't learn any single target fire moves, unless I'm wrong, right? Which is an issue because you're going to be using more SP in the long run. Unless you slap like auto invigorate free, like an auto invigorate free charm on him, you're not gonna be able to use him to his full potential, especially with fire magic. As well as his personality traits, charges Feargy, which is hitting enemy weaknesses, which a lot of bosses don't have. They only actually null or resist elements, so they're never weak to them, which is a bit of an issue, as well as the fact his right? However, he is a very good party member to have, especially like if you're not doing bosses and you're just using him for like getting through Tartarus. He's a good party member to have, but he's not ARS tier because of his limited, movement. Not limited movement, limited like range, I guess. I'm also gonna put Fuka in B tier. I think Fez version of Fuka is easily C tier. The only reason why she's so much better is the rework she got. Right? She got a complete rework in this game. Not only she has her own SP meter, which can be used for analyzing and stuff, but her fear gauges as well are so good. Oracle is so good because they tied Oracle and the other version. I think it's like Oracle and the other one. I think it's like Miracle or something. Which replaces Oracle. Into the fear geese, which means there's no downside. There's no random chance of you getting put to 1 HP. It'll always be good no matter what. Especially the second one. Full heals plus SP recharge, full heals plus stats elements, or like just genuine party-wide heat riser plus concentrate or charge is so good. It is incredibly good. However, she is brought down by the fact that she literally can't. She'll look if you don't keep up her SP, she will lose the ability to analyze, which isn't bad for like going around the floors because you can easily just trial and error it. That's what I did. But if you're not keeping, up on her like stats and stuff like that, she's a bit thingy. Let me turn this blue. Yeah, protect blue makes sense. Right? She can literally lose the only reason why she's there to analyze enemies. Obviously, the chances of that happening are very low, and because you'll usually be in there and out. And if you are running low on SP in general for your party, you're going to be using the clocks anyway. But it still holds her back quite a lot. If she did not have that, she'd be A or S. But for me, she's B tier. Next up in A tier actually is Aigis. Isaac is a way better version of Junpei. She has the Kunda, Tarakaja, and Rakukaja, which are great support moves, but she also learns really good physical moves, as well as Dia, as well as emergency single target healing, which is really good in the pinch. Right? Her Fear Gaze as well are really good. The only thing that does make her S is her first Fear Gaze is Orgeo mode, which again has been reworked. But it still makes it so you can't control her for 3 turns afterwards. Yes, she does fucking insane physical damage, right? But having that backup, especially if you're against a boss that specializes in like electric moves, having that and not being able to control her is incredibly bad. She gets way better late game because she has access to more physical moves as well as um you know stuff like as well as she has access to that kind of stuff as well as more stuff. Her Fear Gear gets rid of the Orgeo mode. Her second Fear Gear is really good, and I think it does more damage on average in Orgeo mode, which is really good. However, because she gets held back in the early game because of not being able to control her, she's A tier in my opinion. Do you want to know who else is an A tier? Ken. Ken can either be an A or an S tier character depending on your party build. Right? Sorry. Ken can be A or S depending on your party build. If you have a great party build and great synergies, he is easily an S tier character. Hell, I think he might even surpass the Pro Tag in usefulness. He earns Bile Assault, which can be really good for boss fights where you don't actually really want to all attack him, you just want to take him down. He learns Light Magic and he learns Electricity Magic, which is really good. He learns the Kaja, Techarchon, and Makarachon, which are again really, really good. Really good as well. And he has probably arguably one of the best Fear Geese in the game, with his Divine Intervention, which literally revives everyone, fully heals, and lets them reflect one attack, physical or magic assault. Besides any form of attack exception of Almighty. It might actually be Almighty. I haven't actually been used on Almighty after using that yet. But he is so good. However, he lives or dies by your party build. See if you've got I'm gonna use S tier as an example, right? See if you've got Ken, like Shinji and Mitsuru. That's a shit party build. You can't get the most out of them with that build, right? Like, yeah, you can synergize them well, right? The build does synergize well. However, you you don't have single target healing. Ken does learn healing moves, but he only learns Meteor Rayhan and Summary Charm. And those take up 44, 33 SP respectively, right? Which means, especially with Shinji, who uses a lot of health on average, that's going to be hard to keep up with, right? Which means you need to have your pro tag have a healing persona, which in a day you shouldn't really be using your pro tag for healing, in my opinion. Right? those two kind of suck. He does actually synergize quite well with Junpei, which makes sense. But yeah, he's A tier because he lives or dies by your party build. He synergizes pretty well in most of them, but if you don't have a good party build that really accommodates him, you're not going to get the most amount of potential. Right? S tier. I'll be honest, these two are very much interchangeable. They can be the best or the worst. They can be the best and the worst depending on the day of the week. Right? Yukari is by hand. I'm more tempted to put him here. Put him first. I feel like he is the best party member in the game. Right? Uh, So Yukari is by far the best healer in the series because of reload and her characteristics, right? Not only is she practically a designated healer, she has the highest magic attack in the game, right? Right? She has access to wind skills, which a lot of enemies are actually weak to in this game for some reason, right? And her characteristics and fear gauge charge times are fucking nuts, right? See, right? She literally gets fear gauge charges for healing people. That's her whole point. You're going to be healing with her practically the entire time she's there, right? Which means you get Feargy charge time so easily. It's probably the second easiest way to charge Feargies, right next to Shinji and Ken. I forgot to mention Ken's Feargy being half SP. Makes sense, well, the fact they have Auto Invigorate, really good. Right next to the protagonist, I feel like she has the second easiest Feargy charge time next to the protagonist, which is also just use personas. Uh, Whoops. But yeah, Yukari is the best healer. She gets her Fury so quickly, and her second Fury being a party-wide concentrate is so good, especially for her. Like even just using even getting like Mitsuru or even the pro tag to use concentrate on her, she could do so much damage for her wind skills, assuming they don't resist it. It is even if they do resist it, they're gonna do so much damage no matter what. She is such a good party member, you were remiss to not have her on your team. And then Akihiko. Akihiko is probably one of the most interesting characters in the game because despite, especially in Fez, right, this version of Akihiko, because he is one of the best characters in the game, in Fez as well, in this game as well, in my opinion. Uh, he's probably one of the best characters in the game solely because he's a joint magic physical attacker. The fact that the fact that Atlas thought it was a good idea to give him both joint physical and magic is insane to me, right? Not only did the Not only is Persona 3 Fez more of a magic focused game, right? And a lot of that does actually show in the reload, but the buff you get for physical is insane, right? Right? He also got some. He did get nerfed quite a bit from Fez, which makes sense because he was undisputedly the best character in the game in Fez. But if you. But Aki. But. I don't even know where to start with Aki. He's such a good character. Not only does he learn God's Hand naturally, um, which is fucking nuts. I think it's the highest damaging move in the game. Right next to like Armageddon, which is a fear gate to be honest. That probably doesn't really count. He gets a lek. He gets both a lek amp and a lek boost, which give him a 75% increase to electricity attacks, which is fucking insane. Which also apply to his two fear gates of heavy to all enemies and severe to one. It's fucking nuts. As well as the fact that he gets emergency healing, as well as Matarunda and Masakaja, is also insane as well. He is practically a jack of all trades that specializes in everything and generalizes in nothing. He is fucking nuts. Right? If you're not having it on your team, you're just missing out. Well, genuinely. I do feel like there is one downside with using Akihiko, in my opinion, and that is that if you're running is that again he does synergize really well with builds. See if you're running a full physical build of I don't know, fucking I'll just make the build here. You're running a full physical build. He is quite you don't have full healing, and because you're gonna be using God's Hand a lot, you won't be able to heal like, everyone as much, especially if you're running a full physical build of Junpei, Aki, and Aigis. There's only single target healing here, and again, to be fair, that's not even an issue with uh Aki. That's just an issue. That's just an issue with like your team comp. He fits well in most team comps as well. He's kind of like The best way to describe Aki is he is a Swiss Army knife. He can be used in whatever role you want. If you want a magic attacker, he's got him with a leg boost snap. If you want a physical attacker, God's hand, best move in the game by far. Right? Fuck it. You want a support character? Matarunda and Masukaja are probably one of the best debuff. Matarunda, in my opinion, is one of the best debuff moves in the game, as well as Masukaja. And if you're running Aegis with it, who can literally buff your like your defense, the enemies aren't doing anything to you. Not only that as well, his characteristics is so fucking broken as well. He gets like a 25 and 50%. I think he gets a 50% like increase to buff skills. So if you use Tarakaja on him, so if you use Matarakaja and give him a fucking charge, he is doing like I think 4 times the damage that you would usually do. Combine that with God's Hand, you are fucking killing anything that comes near you. He is by far probably one of the best characters in the game. Yukari's still F tier, but he very clearly out tiers him in any way. So that was the Persona 3 one. I'm thinking I might do all of them. That took 20 minutes. You know what? Let's do them for Persona 4 as well. Let's do them for Persona 4 as well. Actually, yeah, perfect. Persona 4, Persona 5. Oh, awesome. This is just the. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Boom. Right. Okay. Again, I'll make a pro tag tier. Add a robot. No, I don't know. Add a robot. Sorry. We just add a rom-com pro tags and we'll fire all the pro tags in there. By the way, just so you know, this is how they'll stack up. I'm gonna remove them afterward, but obviously all the pro tags are in their own tier. Simply because it's a nice sprite Makoto. Goddamn. You know, they practical specialize. So Persona 4. Where is he? He's D tier. Yosuke is D tier for me because he is outclassed in every way. He's outclassed as a healer by Yukiko, and he's outclassed as a magic attacker by thingy. And hell, if you're playing like a fucking Izanagi only run, Izanagi is such a physical tank that he's outclassed physically as well. He's good early game, especially as an early game healer. But once you get Yukiko and maybe even and hell, especially Teddy, there's no point to keep him around. Yeah, why is Naoto here twice? I never noticed that. Why is Naoto here twice? Who made this? Fucking nerd. Right. Anyway, DT. So I feel that's only oh no, Kanji's D tier as well. He's outclassed. I think he's outclassed as well in physical attack. Yeah. Teddy. Rise's C tier. Rise's. I'll be honest. Rise's only actually C tier because she doesn't do much. To be honest, she doesn't have like the insanity. She doesn't have like the insane moves as Futaba, but she does not have, but she also doesn't have the buffs Fuka got in Reload. It might be unfair, but she's C tier. Teddy's B. Actually no, she is B. She outclasses Kanji in physical attack by a fucking load. I'm pretty sure she learns God Hand as well. God Hand and Brave Blade, I think, or so that might be another character. She is such a good physical attacker. However, again, this game also suffers from the Persona 3 Fizz effect, where these games are very much magic focused. So again, it's not bad to have her on the team. She doesn't suck, but she's not the best character. Yukiko's S. We just fire these guys in here. I'll explain them in a bit. See, no, they knew right now. Right, Teddy, really good for support. He has access to multi-target healing as well for multi-target and single-target healing for emergencies. And he learns some pretty good buff moves as well. I think he also learns Kamui Miracle, which is just Oracle. I don't understand why she doesn't have it, but you know what? Move on. Simply, he's a he's a good character, support character as well as he learns Ice, and you know, especially with how magic focused this game is, it's better to have Teddy's a better magic ice user than, you know, GA. Uh, Yukiko's S tier, best healer, and probably we can argue in the series at that point until Reload came out and gave fucking Yukari like a 75% SP reduction on healing skills. I forgot to mention that. Oh shit. Yeah, Yukari gets that in Reload, which is fucking nuts. Uh, she's by far the best healer. She learns Amrita, she learns Salvation naturally, she learns Midirahan, she learns Dirahan. I think she even learns Burning Petals as well, which is like a severe magic fire move on all enemies, which is really good as well. The only thing again she struggles with is SP, which is fair enough. Naoto as well. Naoto's moves. Naoto is a really good magic attacker. She has fire and she learns fire and wind skills, which means you're covering the weakness that this guy can't hit. And I think it means with this party comp, you hit every single weakness except, and she also learns dark moves as well. I don't think anyone learns night moves naturally, which is a bit shit. She learns dark as well, dark insta kill, which is really good. I think she also learns Megidolo naturally as well, and concentrate, as well as Heat Riser, which is really good. Again, she's a really good magic attacker, but again, she falls short with her buffs, which is why I don't think she's quite as good as Yukiko. But yeah, I feel like that's where I put her. I think that's fair in my opinion. I feel like that's fair. I put her there. Uh, roll these guys back, and then we'll do Persona 5. Persona 5's team is actually fairly balanced in my opinion. Uh, I don't think anyone's too bad or too good, to be honest. Akechi. Which one do I say here? Do I do Loki or? Because Akechi's moveset's vary, I think. I'd say Akechi's A tier. He learns all mighty moves, which is good. He learns dark and light, especially with the dark and light buffs 5 and Reload have, where you actually can do damage to them and not just insta kill. As well as the fact I think he learns like Agni Astra and Vorpal Blade, which is really good moves to have as well, especially for the final fight. In Reload. Sumire is also probably A tier as well. Uh, simply because again she's a really good physical attacker as well. Uh, I think I'll be honest. I feel like all the characters in Reload. Makoto's S. Makoto's S because she's good magic attacker. She's good at putting stat ailments on enemies. Which is good for hitting technicals and shit. And she can heal as well. She's a jack of all trades. She's like she's like Aki, but a lot less, but without a lot of the steroids. Uh, on on C, I think Morgana's B. I think the only reason why on is that low, I'll be honest, right? These are all compared to each other. I do feel like Five's team is a lot is very balanced in my opinion. But you know, yeah. Haru. Haru's B. I'll be honest, I don't feel like Sai is exactly the best move in the game, and but her gun does actually save her a lot, having massive AOE damage. However, especially with the gun buffs and Royal as well. Futaba's actually. I may feel cheap to put her up here, but I feel like Futaba's ass. The amount of the amount of support moves Futaba gets, like just randomly healing, randomly buffing all out attacks, randomly just literally like even if you get ambushed, there's a chance she just flips it round and gives you a free all out attack. It's fucking nuts as well. The only thing that holds her back is the fact that all of these skills are like behind confidence, which makes sense because especially with how much they were pushed. Yusuke's B, he learns Brave Blade. He learns Brave Blade and is a nice user, and that's actually it. And I feel like they're Yusuke, Yusuke's A. I feel like these two are interchangeable. They are fine. I feel like uh that's it, I think, for Royal. I know I see like I'm throwing things in at random. But Royal Royal's such like an interesting it's actually really well balanced, I will say. That's one of the best things about Persona 5 is the balancing, in my opinion. I feel like it's actually really well balanced. Any build you want to make can be, backed up and shit. So yeah, that's practically my tier list. Again, if you wanna, again, I recommend making your own. Leave them in the comments. I want to see, you know, how they stack up. I might make another one where I compare all of them to each other, but at the end of the day, especially 5. I know a lot about 4 and 3, but 5 is where I struggle with the most. I don't think I can really do that, especially with how different 5 and 3 are to 4. Until we get a 4 remake, I feel like it'll be very hard to judge them both. Uh, so yeah, I feel like that'll be it. I'll see you lads later. Goodbye.